There's always a challenge, and there are certain we call them particular PKSs, particular kinds of service that are really harder to find. And I just lost a physics teacher, and physics teachers are like the unicorns out in the state of California. Finding somebody that can teach physics, there's all those challenges like speech and language pathologists that are challenges, special ed teachers are challenges, math teachers are challenges. It's really about reaching out and condensing the timeline. Because what we can do is, by the digital interview process, with the ability to be able to do what we do, I can send them a link and I can get them interviewed today. I can get my team to look at it tonight and we can make a decision tomorrow. Versus I'm waiting for a panel that I got to bring this person in, and especially if this person is from out of state. We hire nationally from SLPs to Spanish teachers to physics teachers from out of state all the time. It's easy to send them the link and tell them, here, this is something I want you to review. The implicit bias, is a big issue, especially in schools. We talk about implicit bias in disciplining students, and sometimes where we have high suspension rates in certain ethnic groups. And the studies show it's very clear that there's implicit bias throughout because of the suspension rates. Part of that is, where does that start from? And if we do a better job hiring, then can we reduce those implicit biases that go on that affect the suspension rates of our students? So again, that's the part of that question. So if you look, the number one top tip is a very structured interview.
I had an interview where the principal heard one thing and the panel member heard something else, and the panel member rated that person much higher than the principal. So they had their discussion to decide who their person was. And she said, "Can I rewatch that video?" So she rewatched it and said, "Oh, she did say that. And she did say this. And oh, that did answer the question." So she said, "I just wasn't listening, I guess, because I missed all of that." So it changed how she chose her applicant, because she had ranked her so much lower because she didn't hear most of what the applicant had actually really said. So that is helpful that it's recorded, because I can send it to them. They can go back, discuss it together. They went on a Zoom, watched the video together and said, "Do you see how she answered it this way?" And she said, "Oh, I totally missed it." So that's what I like, is that it's recorded, and then it helps the person who might not be paying attention or may have just missed something hear it in a different way that is actually answering the question that they're trying to get at to hire the person for the position they need.
Now I can go back and we can use it's a teachable moment. It's a teachable moment that we can go back to administrators to be able to reteach, to show them that the interview process has to be really tight to try to avoid some of the issues, especially implicit bias in what we do. The other thing that I think is really critical is the reference checking. I don't know how many times Regina and I go through this all the time, is that finding a reference sometimes, especially during the summer, when the principal is off and not working and they're not checking their email or they're not answering their phone, or especially in this COVID world when they weren't answering their phone at all, then it's like having the ability that somebody is just, I don't have to keep sending that email reminder out. Somebody's doing it for me, and eventually I'm going to get it to make that offer.